Hi there, just a short video today. I get some questions about religion. I think if you want to believe anything, I don't care. Uh, it's up to you. Don't be a bigot. That's one of the things I don't like, and I will never tolerate somebody that says because I believe this and that, which I've made up. Now you have to follow my orders. Basically, that's what it boils down to. Of course, if they come with a whole big group or gang, a group of priests or fanatics, then you have to be wise. You have to go with the flow. But it's insanity, basically, religion. And I just saw a nice documentary about Zionism, and it shows or it claims that the Jews basically came together in Switzerland in 18 something like that, 1870, and they had a little convention where they decided upon where to settle themselves as Jews, and they basically are still executing that program, and it doesn't include any Palestinians living in the territory. That's possible, you know. That's actually quite strong to do if you simply decide something and you execute the plan no matter what, because you want it. It's always the same thing. I have a good example from personal experience when I have to in my office there was a new room with two desks, and one was at the window and the other was at the door. So before the other person came into the room, I put my desk up near the window, and he was a little bit dismayed. He said, "Why didn't you talk about it?" I said, "Well, what's the outcome gonna be? It can only be negative. I want to sit by the window, and this is how no discussion." That's not nice, but that's how. Well, that's simply what it means to be to follow your own needs. But of course, in the case of Israel, it's completely fantastical. It's completely imaginary. They could live in South America and nobody would be harmed, but they're stupid, and they're bigots, so they want to chase everybody out and mercilessly, unbelievable. I think like the pinnacle of the demonstration of the let's say the thoughtlessness with which Israeli and Jews can kill is that they ran over this girl that was protesting with some kind of bulldozer. Simply ran over her and never stopped. She was dead. She was standing in front of it, trying to stop it, and not like Tiananmen Square, the bulldozer didn't stop. And they drove, and the driver drove on. That's a mentality that is beyond. It's just has nothing to do with religion. I think pity on the religious people and pity on the world for religion. I do know where it comes from, but you need real moral people. That's the only one. It's like I heard that Mother Teresa actually fell from her belief. She doubted it and she found it very hard. And she got a letter back from the Vatican saying, "Well, this proves that you're one of God," or something like that. There's always a rhetorical way to wrap somebody's mind back into some kind of knot. If you allow people to talk to you like that, if you allow people to define your reality, then it's your own mistake. If you enjoy that, if you like to be embedded in some kind of virtual reality, like many people today, it's not religion, but it's simply internet and games. It's your choice, but don't try to survive, or don't claim to be trying to survive. Don't claim to be cool or strong. You're not. You're weak. You're completely lost. You don't know where you are. You have no morality. You have no strength. There's nothing there. So it's your choice. And there's many types of animals and creatures that live on the backs of others, or inhabit shells made by other animals or something like that, or simply live in the forest and live and die and don't care because they're larger in numbers. And then you're that kind of animal. It's like humans are different because they basically can choose what kind of animal they will be. And there's a part of that is genetic, but a part of that is also what you find yourself to be successful at. So if you are very aggressive but you're very weak physically, then it's not going to work. And your brain will learn that and will say, okay, well, let's back off. But if you're very aggressive and you're very strong physically, then you'll be very aggressive. That's that. I think that if you want to talk about insanity and mass delusion and just complete puppet theater, then of course it's the Republican presidential election. Newt Gingrich, unbelievable. But instead of worrying about it or being frustrated about it, do everything you can to get things in order locally or with your own people that you know, the leaders that you know. I'd say that the media conglomerates are so powerful these days in swaying masses of people that really don't care. So like, I don't care if it's Newt Gingrich or Ron Paul. I don't care. I have no time to think about it because I'm kept busy by Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul or whoever, But those people that don't care, they won't be able to handle the situations that are being created right now. So it's not important anyway. And if you want to get something done, and if you want to learn how to get something done, it's important to know who is locally important, who is actually getting things done. That's something that I really learned last year, is that there's a big difference between saying that you will do things and actually doing them. And the latter thing can really, people that achieve stuff might not be talking. They might simply be achieving, because that's a big reward to have a result of what you want to achieve. And then you don't have to talk about it. While other people that want to influence and sway and be in the virtual world, which is the political, let's say, atmosphere and reality that everybody experiences, again, an addiction to virtuality, they'll be talking all the time and try to sway you and everybody else, and basically be a big distraction and not achieve anything. It's like, there's quite stark examples of that in my experience last year. And complete inability of official bodies to, even though they talk about achieving and planning and doing something, they simply don't have the power. So they're just talking about it. So, well, basically the function is so there's a post office. And if you have a letter to send, you have to go to the post office. But every time you go to the post office, they say, well, I'm sorry, but today we're closed. Oh, sorry, the mailman is sick. Not today. So you can have a whole country, a whole industry work like that. Oh, I have to have a bread, I go to the baker. Go to the baker, and the baker says, no, sorry, there's no flour today because the farmer was sick. So you go to the farm and say, well, you can go on and on like that. You can have everybody can be busy, saying, oh no, sorry, but I am the baker, you have to come to me first. If you want to have bread, you have to walk all the way to me, or take the bus, or drive your car, spend your time, waste your time, and break your will and exhaust yourself by trying to get it from me. That's my function, to make sure that you exhaust yourself and you don't achieve anything. Because the people that achieve things, they don't want to talk to you anymore because they're busy doing that. That's two worlds. So you want to, just turn away from the federal government and try to, let's say, ignore it. It's not going to do anything for you. It's actually not Newt Gingrich or the Republicans or anything. I saw that this Prince of Saudi Arabia, and it's not Bandar, but one of these guys, is actually investing $300 million in Twitter because it has such potential. Of course it has potential. It has potential in driving consumerism, which is using more oil. So that's what the prince likes. He likes to control and know what moves every individual. And that he can know all that if he owns Twitter. He can simply, if you have money, you can organize to know anything about anybody. It's amazing how the people that are wealthy and in control of the carbon system are so openly announcing and admitting that they're spying on everybody in order to, of course, they won't say it, but if you say, I spy on everybody in order to safeguard the economy, and you're an oil baron, then that makes perfect sense, because you are selling carbon That's the economy. The economy is selling carbon and as much as possible to as many people as possible. And then people have to have fun with that. If they don't, then of course you hate them and you try to ignore them. You try to blackmail or smear them, because that sucks. They won't buy your oil. And so now you have you buy Twitter, and you can watch everybody and see what they're twittering, and then you can, of course, which manufacturer will be attractive to sell more oil to, and the plastic and all that stuff. And you do that, and that's your business. That's how you keep check the world. You're basically king of it. Fundamentally, if you supply what everybody needs, and you make sure that people need what you're supplying, then you're the king. And that's it. So maybe we should forget about New World Government and let's say more ideological ideas about that, because it's about the foie gras farm of using carbon fossil fuels and not moving away from them, and not being able to, and making sure that nobody does. And that comes from the Middle East. So it's, that's my view. I think if there's one thing that you can do, is abandon Twitter. Abandon it and make sure that your friends do, because it's no longer a neutral instrument of your personal communication. It's an instrument of espionage, of monitoring, surveillance, trend spotting. And that it's not about the individual. It's about groups of individuals banding together and trying to organize something, and then becoming a movement or a trend. And then that trend is spotted if you communicate that trend over Twitter, and you want to do something that's not carbon related, not carbon credit related, not related to the current economy. Forget about it. Wake up. You're spotted. It's not gonna happen. So I'll start. I got this robo-economic theory, and I get the comments of a guy that calls himself Robo-Eco. I think not coincidentally, talking about Illuminati and whatever, all other bullshit. Just jump in front of that train, make sure that it looks ridiculous, and people will turn away. It's easy if you have the monitoring capability, so stop allowing yourself to be monitored like that. Abandon Twitter. I guess that's my call for today.